This young lady does not need the introduction, but yes, she does need an introduction because everybody needs an introduction. She hails from Fresno, California with 2 degrees, started her own business, did everything right. She comes from a long list of entrepreneurs. Her mom and dad own businesses. And after the situation happened, she said, what can I do? She went to a meeting and she saw ACN. She looked at her husband and says, honey, winked at him. This is something we can go do together. And as you know, they're known through the corporate of ACN as a gas station flippers. Hey, well, ain't bad to be known. At least you're known. What did Mr. Nelson say? He said 4 things. What are you great at? Number 2, what do you want to be known for? There it is. And number 3, what's your documentation? Now, I got those notes sitting right on my desk. That was profound talk from Mr. Nelson. Without further ado, from Fresno, California, regional director on the way to regional vice president very soon, the great, the one and only Miss Natasha Ismail.
So thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for having me on today. And thank you so much for that amazing introduction. As usual, Mr. Thomas it's Monday, okay? But he has Monday energy throughout the whole week. I don't know, for those of you that know him, you guys know that every single day he brings it. And that's one of the things that makes him such an amazing leader, is that he shows up. Leaders show up. Every single day, there's people on this call that have barely missed any calls. There's people that have maybe missed 1 call and they remember exactly when they missed it too. Because the platform that Mr. Thomas is providing for everyone, for us to learn. And I heard somebody say the other day, you know, people pay thousands of dollars for this kind of information, and they do. You know, Les Brown charges $250,000 for 1 hour. And here we have so many speakers. Mr. Nelson is his protege. Like, Mr. Thomas knows him, and we get to hear from these speakers constantly. So I just want to thank Mr. Thomas for everything that he does, because I know it's a lot of responsibility. It's not easy. So can we just give it back to Mr. Thomas, give him a round of applause for everything that he's doing for all of us. So thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Now, I want to talk about something today, and I had this feeling to talk about this, and I don't know, some of you might get uncomfortable with it, but we're going to use the chat a lot today, okay? So what's something that everyone wants? You know, I got to start with the question, right? I got to start with the question. What's something that everyone wants, everyone needs, everyone has the potential to get, but not everybody goes for it? Ooh, Sam Foster. Oh, that was instant money. There's a reason I had the Dinero song playing in the beginning. Money, right? For how many of us is money an uncomfortable topic? Just raise your hand. Like, okay, cool. Thank you for those of you that are being honest and sharing, because I know some of y'all don't want to rate. It's okay. But money for a lot of people is a very uncomfortable topic. And we know that Mr. Thomas has talked about it. He's tried teaching us the game of money, because money's a game, right? Money's a game. It's an attraction. And he's talked to us about it before. He's taught us about the game of money. But what I want to do today is kind of go the route of limiting beliefs. How many of us growing up sat around the dinner table and talked about money? Because I didn't. Anybody? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of like 70 plus. Okay, so as you can see, it's not like a normal topic, right? Now, how many of us had to basically grow up and figure it out? Like in college, working 3 jobs was normal, because I worked 3 jobs in college. It was normal. I didn't like asking my parents for anything. I didn't want to be one of those kids, you know, that, hey, Dad, can you wire me like 100? No, like I didn't know. Working 3 jobs was normal. And because I wasn't taught the game of money, because my parents themselves were trying to figure out the game of money themselves. So I have a couple of beliefs that everyone has been given. So understand the beliefs that people have right now, the beliefs that you have right now are the ones that basically you've grown up with and you've adopted from your upbringing. So it could be from your parents, your grandparents, whoever it is that raised you. Unless you had a mentor teaching you the game of money, you've adopted those beliefs about money from somebody else, and they don't belong to you. Hear me again. They don't belong to you. You have adopted the beliefs of money that you have right now. Now, what's the good thing about that is you have the ability to change that. So my goal today is hopefully to give a little bit of information and a couple of stories here and there to where your beliefs about money start to shift. Now, everybody get ready to use the chat. So finish this sentence. Money doesn't grow on. All right, you guys can mouth it. I can see it. Okay, trees. Money doesn't grow on trees. How many of us have heard that? Everyone knows that line, okay? But technically, just kidding. I won't get into it. But okay, money is evil. Exactly. How many of us have heard that? Money is evil. Money is a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. Okay? People can be evil, but money is a piece of paper. Okay? Now, next one. Save it for a rainy day. How many of us have heard that? Save it for a rainy day. Don't use it. Don't spend your money. Don't spend it. Save it, right? Now, last one. Don't pay more when you can pay less. So do you see every single person on this call has had a different upbringing, but yet every single person on this call knows all of these lines. Why is that? Why does everybody know the same lines? How many of us growing up saw our parents, and I know somebody on the call, he's totally gonna get this because he's talked about this before. How many of our parents used to save the tinfoil after they used it to reuse it? Just look at the hands, like to reuse it. And I do that. If it's not greasy and it's not dirty, I'm gonna keep it. I ain't gonna waste it. Because that's how I was brought up. That's how I was taught, right? Foil is expensive. If you don't have to reuse it, don't reuse it. If it's like has a bunch of grease on it, you can throw it away. But other than that, you keep it, you reuse it, right? Catherine, she's like, I had to stop myself. Okay, so now there's a story that Mr. Williams said, and I'm gonna plug it right here. He talked about it a few months ago. There was a lady that generations and generations, she had passed down her recipe for making ham. And, you know, every year the family would get together for Thanksgiving and they'd cook the ham. And what they would do is they would always cut off the edges before they would put it into the pot. And, you know, so one of the daughters asked her mom, she said, Mama, why do we make it like this? Why do we cut off the edges? She goes, baby, that's the way we've always made it. That's the way your grandmother made it. That's the way your great grandmother made it. That's the way we're going to make it. She said, okay. So, you know, one day at Thanksgiving, the great grandmother, she asked them, there's probably too many greats in there, but bear with me. She asked them, why do you guys cut the edges off the ham? And she said, well, Grandma, you used to make it that way. She said, yeah, but it's because we couldn't afford a bigger pot. So how many of us are cutting edges off of hams because we've been brought up that way, but in reality, we don't know why our parents or grandparents did the things they did the way that they did. Exactly. So when I was younger, I found out at a very early age that money played a big role in our life simply because of the fact that money gave you choices and money gave you time. Because my dad was always working. He started out, you know, doing odd jobs here and there. He was a bellboy. He was a valet driver. He still remembers the same hotel in Los Angeles that he did that at. And then he, you know, got a job at a liquor store and then picked up our whole family from Los Angeles and moved out to a smaller town because somebody said, hey, there's probably more opportunity out there for you. And out there, you know, working jobs, saving up his money, he was able to, you know, buy his first business and things like that. But what that meant was he was always working. He was always gone. So when I was growing up, I remember being at, how many of you remember the award ceremonies at elementary schools, right? They would give you like the science award and the history award. And, you know, I remember being at those ceremonies And when I would go up to get the award, I was always looking out in the audience for my parents, and they weren't there. And what I related that to was, it's because they're busy making money so that they can put a roof over my head so that we won't have to struggle like they did before, right? So knowing that about money, what do you think my belief was about money growing up? That you have to work very, very hard for it, that you have to, you know, make a lot of it if you want like a comfortable living or whatever, right? But money equals choices, and money gives you time. So when I got to college, exactly, all work and no play. And that's exactly what it was, Miss Catherine, with my parents, right? Like they, you know, my goal for them is to build them their dream home. And they haven't even been able to do that because they just haven't had the time to do it. You know, they, like, my dad's a workaholic, my husband's dad's a workaholic, right? It's not a bad thing, but it's like you miss out on family and the things that really do matter. And so working 2 to 3 jobs in college was normal, you know? And then when my husband and I got married, we saw ourselves going into the same routine, not seeing each other as often, not having as much time for each other as often. We're always working. Oh, there's a birthday party. Oh, we can't go, we're working. Oh, there's a, you know, whatever, there's a wedding. Oh, we can't go, we're working. And that's not the lifestyle that we wanted. So that's why when we did see this business, we were like, wait a second. Residual income is a thing? Tell me more about this residual income, right? So, and then we were just like, dude, like, it's crazy. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to give everybody some stats. Okay, so if you want to write these down and if you want to take notes, go ahead and take notes. But I want to play a little game with this. So I'm going to have you guys guess in the chat. Okay, who's ready? Who's ready? Okay, so get ready. Get ready. Get your fingers ready. Get your fingers ready. Okay. Mr. Thomas, you cannot play this game. Okay. You are exempt. You are banned from playing this game because you already know. Okay. Look at his sad face. You're sorry. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Not sorry. Okay. What % of Americans in the United States make at least 6 figures a year? And 6 figures is $100,000. Okay, Miss Catherine, stop. I'm not even done yet. $100,000 divided by 12 months is about $8 grand a month. Okay, and Miss Williams got it right. 5%. Write that down. 5% of Americans in the United States make 6 figures. Next question. What % of Americans have at least $1,000 saved up for emergencies? Example, hospital, car breaks down, somebody dies, something happens, 24, nope, keep going. Keep going. What % of Americans have at least 10%? Nope. What % of Americans have at least $1,000 saved up for emergencies? Nope, 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 nope. Keep going. In the United States, what % of Americans? Okay, I'll tell you. Oh, Mr. Lewis is close. 37%. That means if your car were to break down or somebody would go to the hospital or something would happen, only 37% of Americans have $1,000 saved up for emergencies to be able to take care of that. Okay. Next question. What is the average income in an American household? We'll say a month. Okay, give me a month. A month. What's the average income in the American household per month? 4K, Jamar Sharp got it. $4,000 a month. Okay, $4,000 a month. Now, I want to ask a question on this one. You don't have to put this in the chat and you don't have to say it. Think to yourself where you are on that scale. If we know that the average American, average, and nobody on this call is average, okay? Average American makes $4,000 a month. Where are we on that scale? Just think about it to yourself. Just tell yourself you're under it, at it, or above it. That's all you need to know. Okay. Now, the next question I want you to ask yourself is why? Why are you there? If the average person is making $4,000 a month, if you're making under that, that means right now you're under average. Why? Now, next question. What is the average cost of college tuition in the United States? What is the average cost of a 4-year college tuition? 40K, Joseph, I don't know who you are, bro, but you got it right. 40,000. It is anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. $20,000 to $40,000. Now, a side note is that one of the highest debts in America is student loan debt. And number two, it takes the person on average 10 years to pay that off. Average 10 years. Some people, they pay it, it takes them their whole life to pay it off. Now, last one. What % of Americans are stressed out about finances? What % of Americans are stressed out about finances? Dave Clover, you close. You close. Keep going. Couple more. All right, I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you. Because nobody got it yet. I'll tell you. Julian's close, man. Okay. 77% of Americans are stressed out about finances. Okay. Now, that's the end of the game, unfortunately. But according to the American Psychology Association, money is the #1 cause of stress. Write that down. Money is the #1 cause of stress. #1 #1 cause of stress. Now, what does stress cause? For those of you that don't know, stress causes depression, anxiety, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythm, stroke, heart attacks. And after strokes, people can get paralyzed as well. They can lose their speech. They can have trouble eating, walking, stuff like that. Now, I want you to think to yourself, what kind of quality of life do you want? Because I'm looking at everybody's faces, and for the ones that I personally know, I know you're not where you want to be or where you deserve to be in your quality of life. Yes, you want to be stress-free. So the reason I wanted to talk about money today was because whatever you want to do or whatever quality of life you want, it basically boils down to how much money do you have to be able to afford the quality of life that you want. And a lot of times we're so scared to talk about money. Like I told you guys the story, right, about the person that made us feel bad for having a big house. And I'm just like, why? Why did I feel bad for what somebody else's opinion was about what my life should be? So everybody on your notes really quickly, in a couple of words, I'm going to say a few areas of our life. And I want you in a couple of words to write down what you see that part of your life looking like, okay? So let's say, like, if I say, what's the vision for your life? Somebody said stress-free. Okay, perfect. Write that down, okay? Now, #1, what's the vision for your life? In a couple of words, what is the vision you have for your life? Where do you live? Is it in an RV so that you can travel the world? Is it in a big house? Is it in a condo? Is it at the beach? Is it in another state? Is it in another country? Do you want multiple homes? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in a shack? Because that's cool too. Debt-free, amen. Next, what do you want to drive? What the heck do you want to drive? I saw a Lamborghini Aventador yesterday on TV and I was like, I've never wanted a Lamborghini so bad. And my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, so whose car is that going to be? And we both said mine at the same time. And it was just so funny. We both started laughing. But yeah, it's going to be hours. But I was like, I'll be the main driver. Okay, I'll be the main driver. But what do you want to drive? How do you feel when you're driving that? Okay, if you want a driver, that's cool too. But I want to feel my ride. Like I want to drive it. Okay. But what do you want to drive? Do you want multiple cars? Do you want one of the little scooters that you see people riding? Do you want a golf cart just to ride around your neighborhood? There's people in this neighborhood that go drive a golf cart to go get Starbucks. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I want to do that. I want to get a golf cart to drive to Starbucks. Like, think about it. Oh, look at Miss Sensational. That's right. And look, the limit does not exist. What do you want to drive? Whatever you want to drive, write it down. Write it down. Next, what do you want your business to look like? Specifically this one. What do you want your business to look like? There's somebody on a training that was saying their goal is to get to 100 million. You can do it. But what do you want your business to look like? How many business partners do you want coming in a month? How much money do you want to be making? Even total, how much money a month from everything that you're doing do you want to make? And you know what Eric Worre says, the author of GoPro? He says, whatever number you just wrote down, double it. Because you were being too modest. And you weren't believing it. Next, what do you want to wear? Ladies, what do we want to wear all the time? Do you want to go to a salon every day? I will have a makeup artist and a hair person come to my house to get me ready. Mr. Thomas, I know you don't need that, but they will come to my house to get me ready every single day. There's going to be someone that travels with me, a stylist, all of that. I already got this all planned. But what do you want to wear? What kind of shoes do you want? Ladies, you want Louis Vuittons? Why not? Why not? There's people that have every single pair that Louis Vuitton has ever come out with. And I know a couple of them, okay? I've seen them. So why not you? Whatever you want. Do you want the Skechers? What are they, like the air pillow ones that are like you walking on clouds or something? Ladies, do you want those when you go walking? Guys, do you want Louis Vuittons with the little spikes on them? Do you want Gucci's? You can't get Payless shoes anymore because they're gone. I love Payless shoes. But, you want shoes from like Dr. Scholl's so your feet don't hurt because those cost money, even though they're not like Gucci or anything. They're comfortable. What do you want to wear? What kind of clothes do you see yourself wearing? Do you want to stop shopping at the thrift store? Do you want to stop shopping at Walmart or Target for your clothes? Because I grew up on those clothes. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you want something else and you're settling for that, that's a problem. What do you want to buy? Next, what do you want to buy? What things would you buy? Now, this includes giving gifts. Because one of my biggest things, like the other day, somebody was like, how do you have such a big heart? And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't think it's big enough because my wallet isn't big enough yet. Because think about Mr. Thomas. Every single time he stays with us, it's our little secret, but I'll tell you guys, okay? So when he leaves on the bed, there will be a card and a little gift. Every single time. Just the last time he's like, I haven't traveled, so this is my first place. I was like, I could give you a card, Mr. Thomas. He's like, no. But he covered it, right? He covered it with the gift, okay? But how much would you give to other people? Just think about it. How would you feel just randomly sending somebody a gift and it makes their whole entire day and they get so happy just because you sent them something to let them know that you were thinking about them? How would you feel when you're able to give? Because buying a gift costs money. Unless you make something, but you want to use popsicle sticks to make a jewelry box, it's still going to cost you money, okay? Unless you eat a lot of popsicles, but you still have to buy those popsicles, okay? Next question. Who would you help? And this is a really big one. Who would you help if you had more money? Or if you were making more money? Who would you help? Who at home needs to stop working and wants to enjoy their life and finally deserves to enjoy their life, but they can't because there's not enough money? Who would you help? Who loves giving to charity? Who loves volunteering their time? Mr. Thomas, I know he's spoken about going, to the church to feed people, and there's 200-300 cars lined up, but somebody had to buy that food. Who would you give to? Who would you help? There's people that have family members that have disabilities. There's, people that they're left to be the solo breadwinner because of whatever's going on. And then people are more stressed out, and then they start to argue. And instead of loving each other more, you're drifting more apart. Even though you live under the same household, you're so far away from each other. Next question. What would your stress levels look like? Because let me tell you right now, when people are less stressed, they don't age as much, okay? Look at Mr. Thomas. He's forever like 41, okay? Nobody even knows how old he is, okay? But he's just forever 41. That's just how we're going to put it, okay? Like Benjamin Button over here. Mr. Nelson, like, just think about it. What would your stress levels look like? My husband yesterday, I wasn't going to say this, but somebody probably needs to hear it. My husband yesterday surprised me, and he came home early from work. And he knows I get super happy when he comes home early, right? Because I love spending time with him. And he was like, so what do you want to do? And I said, do you want to barbecue? Because he loves barbecuing. He loves barbecuing. And we have not barbecued at this house probably like ever. And we've been here for over 2 years. Okay. So I said, do you want to barbecue? And he's like, yeah, let's barbecue. So he went, he bought everything. Again, takes money. Okay. He went and bought everything, and, he came back and we barbecued. And the relaxation that I saw on this man's face made my heart so happy. And I don't want to start crying, but he said to me, he goes, babe, imagine when we can do this all the time. Imagine when we can do this all the time. So, Miss Williams, you're making me cry more. So I asked him, I said, do you know what my favorite part about barbecuing was with you? And he said, the food. How good was the food? And I said, okay, the food was really, really good. Okay, Mr. King, you had some competition. But I said, when you said, imagine when we can do this all the time. That was my favorite part. Okay. All right. So, Miss Williams, stop it. Okay. Next one. What would your health look like? What would your health look like? If you had your optimum health, I just got the chills, so I know somebody needed to hear that. If you had optimum health and you could just go hiking whenever you want, and you had all the energy to do whatever you wanted, think about this too. The amount of money that you have determines the quality of food that you're able to get, the quality of care that you're able to get. Mr. Thomas has a private doctor. He don't go to no hospital. It's private. I don't know how many of y'all knew that, but you know that now. Anytime he needs something, he just straight calls his doctor. He doesn't have to go to a doctor's office and wait for 30 minutes with his mask on and fill out forms and sit in there with kids that are snotting everywhere and running up and down and watching TV and throwing around magazines. None of that. He ain't got to deal with that. What would your health look like? I love taking walks with my dogs and my husband. I love it. I love it. And another thing that I love, we're the youngest couple out there. I love it. We have an in-home gym. We ain't got to go to a gym. I don't have to wait for somebody to be done with the freaking bench press. I don't have to hover over them. Like if they leave, I'm going to, somebody else is going to run to the machine. And unless you know what I'm talking about, because you laughing. Okay. What would your health look like? Now, imagine this for a second. I heard, I think it was Jesse Itzler that said this before. He's the guy that created Marquis Jets, and I think sold it to Warren Buffett for like a lot of money. So he said, imagine being on an island. Okay, so everybody right now, just imagine being on an island. You're laid out on one of those thingies, and like Mr. Thomas likes to say, you're drinking the nectars of the gods. Okay, men, you got beautiful women fanning you, unless you married. That's a no-no. Okay, and women, you got a beautiful man fanning you, unless you married. That's a no-no. Okay, then just imagine your spouse doing that for you. But imagine you're just in paradise, but you have a sore throat. My throat's bugging me. I can't drink or eat anything. It hurts. You are in paradise. And yet, what is bothering you? The sore throat. And people that have gone on trips and stuff, if you've gone on a trip and you get sick, you don't give a about anything else. The only thing you care about is this freaking sore throat. So your health is everything. Everything. When I had a migraine for probably like 10 days or something, I could not do anything. I didn't care about anything. My house was a mess. I didn't care because my head hurt and it was horrible, right? Health is everything. Now, everybody has a number, okay? Like, what's that number a month that you need to be making or you want to be making to where you can achieve everything that you just put above? What is that number a month? What is it for you? Whatever it is, write it down. You don't have to put it in the chat. Write it down. Write it down on your paper. Is it 3,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000? What is it? What is it that you need to have down to where you can achieve everything that you just wrote above? Write that number down. What is it? Now, I want you to imagine your life when you start making that. And notice I didn't say if, I said when you start making that. What's it gonna feel like to go to a restaurant and not flip automatically to the backside of the menu because you can't afford anything in the middle? What's it gonna look like when you can fly on an airline that you wanna fly on and not the one that you can afford because it sucks and the seats are like sitting on surfboards? And some of you guys know what it is, because I don't like flying on that airline because the seats are like surfboards, okay? What's it gonna feel like when, who remembers not being able to go out with your friends and family when they call you because you couldn't afford to go out, let alone to pay for yourself, but if you had to pay for somebody else? Because that fighting game people do, oh, no, I got it, no, I got it, no, I got it. I can't tell you when we first got married and even before, like in college and stuff, how many times I had to say no just because I couldn't afford it. I can't tell you how many trips people at the dollar store knew me. And I still go there sometimes because if I know I get my name brand there, I'm gonna go there, okay? But imagine just having choices and not having to go there because you have to. Imagine being able to give somebody a ride without worrying about, oh, I'm gonna run out of gas because that's not in my route. I can't give you a ride, sorry. Imagine going to the store, getting brand name versus generic because you want it, because it tastes a little bit better and you know it, but we try to tell ourselves it doesn't. Imagine driving what you want to drive, not just the car that you can afford or the one that you qualify for, like Mr. Thomas says. Imagine living where you want, not the place that you can afford or that somebody else is paying for that you didn't really want. Why are we scared to want the best? Like I told you guys, the person that was like, well, why do you guys have that house? Well, why not? Why are we so afraid to want more for ourselves? Why are we so afraid to want more for our family? It's not a bad thing. It's your birthright. I know, okay, Steve Harvey, has a talk that he did. I'm going to try to find it and I'll say it probably on next Monday, but he said there's enough wealth in the world for everybody to have a certain amount of acres. I don't know if it was like 12 or 18 acres or something like that. So all he says is, I just want my whatever acres it is. It's there. Don't shrink your dreams to fit into somebody else's imagination. Don't make yourself small because somebody else doesn't have big enough thinking to where they can fit in your vision into theirs. It's not their vision. 6. It's probably 6. Miss Natalie just said 6. But it's not their vision. Remember, you see what you see because God gave you that vision, nobody else. If nobody understands your struggle right now, it's not up to them to understand it. It's up to you to understand it, but to know that you're going towards better. You got to stop letting others' opinions bog down your life. Stop letting others' opinions become an anchor on your ship. You are going to the lighthouse. You have a lighthouse. You are a lighthouse. But we're so afraid to talk about money or to go make money. Stop believing your doubt and doubting your beliefs. I'm going to say this again because I heard this past weekend and it changed my life. Stop believing your doubts and stop doubting your beliefs. Stop feeling bad for wanting more money. Stop feeling bad for wanting a better quality of life. We live in an abundant world. There is no scarcity. You circulate money. Whatever you put out into the universe comes back to you multiplied. You deserve more. I'm going to end with a story and then I'm done after this. There was a guy that died and went to heaven. Okay. Now the guy up there that greeted him, you guys probably, some of you might know the story, but he got up there and the guy up there greeted him. He said, hey, how are you? Welcome to heaven. You know, gave him the spiel. And he's like, you can go anywhere up here except for that room over there. You see that door over there? Don't go in that door. And the guy said, well, why not? And he said, you can't ask me questions. I said, you could go anywhere you want to go. Just don't go in that room. Okay. So one day, you know, he's walking around and he sees the door open. What do you think he did? What would you do? Honestly, like I'd try to take a peek at it. Okay. He was super nosy. So he went over to the door and he looked around and nobody was there. So he went closer and closer to the door and he opened the door and he looked inside and he was flabbergasted at what he saw. He walked inside and there were these big boxes wrapped up like presents with big bows on them. And he started seeing that they had name tags on them, just like Christmas presents, big boxes. And he walked around and he's like, okay, my box has to be up here somewhere because I'm up here, right? And he goes and he finally finds his box. And then just then he feels a tap on his shoulder and he says, ah, crap, because you can't cuss up there, right? Ah, crap. And then he turns around and it's the guy that had introduced him and, you know, told him not to go there. So the guy says, I thought I told you not to come here. And he says, yeah, but it was open. The door was open. And he said, I know, but I told you not to come here. And he says, well, okay, since I'm here already, can you just tell me what's in my box? Because I see I have a box and it's a really, really big box. Can you just tell me what's in the box? And he says, do you really want to know? And he says, yeah, I want to know. And he said, I don't know if I should tell you. Do you really want to know? Do you guys want to know? Do you really want to know? He said, in that box is everything that you could have had down on earth if you just had the courage to go get it. Every single one of you, when that time comes, you don't want your box up there. You want to experience your box down here. You want to live full and die empty. You want to rob the grave of everything that you have to offer. And I just got the chills, so I don't know who that was for. Don't go up there and have a box. When you get up there, you don't want to see a box with your name on it because you want to know that you lived full and died empty. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. And with that, Mr. Thomas, thank you so much. I'm going to pass it back to you.